The tips in this series of videos are a small part of our comprehensive guide to telemarketing skills that's been developed to help telemarketers and the companies that employ them. It's for companies large and small that routinely make outbound calls to generate new business opportunities. For more details on the guide, check out our website. The aim of these tips is to help you get the most from outbound business-to-business calls intended to generate sales opportunities. Now, all too often, telemarketing is referred to as cold calling, and callers are perceived as fast talkers that can sell ice to an Eskimo. Now, the reality is that good quality telemarketing is much more than that. It's not least about listening and building relationships with carefully targeted individuals in companies that fit the profile of the organisation that could potentially spend substantial sums of money with your company. Now, with that in mind, it pays to prepare and to follow a process that will enhance your chance of success. In future videos, you'll learn more about our top 10 tips for improved telemarketing performance. We'll give you a snapshot in this video. The tips are: number 1, set realistic objectives. Objectives should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. Our second tip is a well-worn phrase with which I'm sure you're familiar. JDI, just do it. Too often procrastination means that a competitor beats you to the deal. So don't let finishing your website or brochure or some other reason delay you from getting on the phone. Clearly defining your target audience is our tip number 3. Nothing absorbs more time and cost than calling into the wrong market or calling people that aren't the right decision makers. With that in mind, tip number 4 is about sourcing a robust list. You'll need to spend some time on this and check out your list provider. Ideally, you need a good size list, no more than 6 months old, with the names of the decision makers you want in companies that can buy your products or services. Devising a compelling proposition is tip number 5. There's no point in doing work on the other factors if when you reach the decision maker, your proposition is lackluster and it's delivered by an uninspiring caller. With that in mind, tip number 6 relates to caller motivation. Whilst it's critical to hire and train the right people, you need to make sure they're motivated. That's partly setting clear objectives, but you also need to create a positive environment where they'll be enthusiastic to make the calls too. A good briefing is tip number 7. Make sure you don't just leave telemarketers to work out the pitch for themselves. You should provide a written and verbal briefing for each campaign so that the callers really understand the proposition and how it benefits the prospects. Role play with them if you can. Tip 8 is about tracking and measurement. It's often said that you can't manage what you can't measure. So make sure you set key performance indicators for the campaign and that you measure progress against these. Now, tip 9 may seem an odd one. It relates to being patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, and not every prospect will sign on the dotted line immediately. Therefore, you need to work the process and keep going. Our last tip is about follow-up. This goes throughout the process. It includes sending out documentation if needed, confirming meetings or demos, providing timely quotes and proposals, and calling back when you say you will. It's often those that keep going that win the business. Now, you can download the tips in more detail from this page, and we'll explore them more fully in future videos. You can also contact us using the details on our website. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to check out our blog from the toolbar, where you can see lots more new business development tips and sign up for updates.